welcome to my channel for the love of decor and more. Today's video is a part 2 to my application of Backsplash with peel and stick tile that I purchased over at Amazon. Today I will be grouting the Backsplash tiles, and I'm using a Poly Blend Plus brand from Home Depot. The cost of this grout was about $6, and all you needed to do was simply add water and stir it. There is a fill line on the container, which I pointed to at the beginning of this video. I was using a silicone stick that comes with like resin kits, and this stick was not strong enough to stir. It was bending a lot, so I ended up using a butter knife to stir moving forward. I used a grouting sponge, a bucket of water, an old butter knife that I use around the house, and this spackling knife. So this is how I applied the grout to the surface with a spackling knife. Just kind of a right to left, up and down motion. I was sure to go over each of the cracks where each piece of tile meets to make sure that I filled in those sections really well. And as you can see, I just scraped the excess off and began to smear it again so that I would not be wasting product. It was a really easy process. You want the grout to be, a little smooth, but also a little thick, but definitely not too runny and wet. So I did add water to the grout as I began to get further along in the project, because as time was going by, it was sitting and it was drying out a little bit, but I just simply added a little bit of water, and I mean just turning on the faucet, letting it drip a little bit into the product just to get it to move smoother when applying it. So that worked really well for me. And again, I'm just going up and down, right and left, not in any particular order, but I just was sure to make sure that I went all 4 directions to make sure I got the grout nice and deep into each crack where the tiles met. And I am just going to keep on going with the project. As you can see, there's a big difference me using the grout. It looks finished and more cohesive and just overall better look. This was my first time grouting anything, so it won't be the last. And again, these are peel and stick tiles. Please check out part 1 of how I apply these peel and stick tiles. And if you want to know where I got it from, that is also linked in the part 1 video. And I'll also link it in this video, as a matter of fact. So I am going to keep on grouting, and I'll be back. So after the fact, I thought about I should not have placed the outlet covers back on until I completely finished this project, but they were on, so I just went around it. And actually cleaning up the grout was pretty easy. It's very forgiving. I was able to wipe it down off of the countertops, off of the lights that are above the where the backsplash begins underneath the cabinets. So I was able to clean off those outlet covers pretty easily later on when I was at the cleanup phase. So you see me kind of working around this outlet cover, but at the end of the day, I did get grout on it, but I was able to get it off pretty easy. So that's a key thing to know, that it is pretty easy to clean it up if you get it on areas that you didn't intend to. So that's a plus. So right here, I was over the stove, so I just got a towel and placed it over the stove so that anything that dripped did not fall directly onto the eyes. This was the easiest section of all because it was simply, a big space of a big area with no outlets and things like that. So I was happy to get to this part because it was a lot more room to spread it around, and it was quite fulfilling, spreading the grout around and just seeing how it all came together. So I do have some gaps at the bottom where the backsplash meets the countertop. When I got to this section, I started placing the tiles a little uneven, but ultimately at the end, what I did was I put grout on the very edge of this spackling knife and just drug it up from the bottom upward to fill in those cracks, and it looks pretty seamless now. And I think we're gonna put some caulking, maybe silicone clear caulking or maybe white, I'm just not sure, but we're gonna put a little bit, just a little bead or strip around the entire countertop where it meets the backsplash. So, just a lesson learned about really being paying attention to my measuring as far as placement. When I put the first piece of tile down, it just kind of start going a little uphill, but ultimately, it came out pretty good. So, there were some flaws, but I think the project was a success. Let me know in the comment section what you think. Always, happy to get feedback as well. So drop it in the comment section. And I also mentioned in part 1 that this outlet here, and then there's one on the other side of the counter, I will be replacing with a gold outlet cover like the others. I just haven't been able to find the outlet covers that has the reset button that are gold. So I am on the hunt for 2 of those so that I can replace these. I am just using my shop vac to pick up all of the grout crumbs off of the floor. I wasn't going to use my home vacuum cleaner for that and get it all clogged. So I'm glad I thought about that. We had a shop vac in the garage. So I just cleaned up all of the bits and flakes before I had my husband do the first wipe down of the grout. You're going to find a ton of crumbs and, just really big chunks, dried pieces of grout while you're working on the project. So, I just wanted to be sure to get up as much as I could before moving on. This will just help with your wipe down process. And when I say wipe down, I'm meaning when you wet the sponge to wipe off the excess grout off of the backsplash. So that is what I did next. Actually, my husband did. So I had him jump in and help me a little bit. So I just, again, wanted to make sure I got everything off of the counter, and then we just moved forward. So I did wipe down the grout, the backsplash 3 times. So this is the first time my husband did the initial wipe down. So this is footage after I wiped it down twice, I believe. And on the instructions on the container, it says to wipe with a damp cloth after 20 minutes. And then after 2 hours, wipe it down with the cheesecloth. And I have not done that part yet. I think I want to wipe it off one more time with a damp sponge and then go behind it with with a dry towel because you can see a little chalky dust, you know, little particles in the cracks. So I'm going to go through and wipe it one more time. And then I'm going to wipe it with the cheesecloth at the end. So this is a final product, minus me going in and wiping it down one more time. But I'm so happy with it. So now I am moving on to decorating the kitchen. And these are 2 paintings that I picked up from Ross. They were $19.99 each. I thought they were so pretty. I have, you know, actually a few areas in my home that has like these slim walls, like next to this window right here that needed, you know, some slim paintings. So these were perfect. You know, they had the gold and the gray in them. So I was happy to find those. So I am just going to hang these up and just decorate a little bit. You know, the kitchen had been under construction with the backsplash being unfinished for, you know, probably a week or so. So I was happy to get it all together. So enjoy while I style and decorate my kitchen, and enjoy. So this blue tape that I'm using is just helping me to measure perfectly. I basically put the tape behind the pictures, measuring from hook to hook, and then putting my ink pen, like sticking a little hole through there, putting it on the wall, and that way I can nail in my picture hanging nails perfectly the first time. So that is the purpose of that blue tape. So now I'm just going ahead and styling the countertops and getting things all nice and neat so that we can enjoy our space again. This dining table was in my formal dining room, and I am getting rid of my bar height pub table. So I liked this one in this space better. However, I do need to paint the legs of those chairs black to match the table until I purchase more chairs, and also 2 chairs to go up to the island counter as well. So these will do for now. These cute dishes I got from Target. I'm gonna go back and get more the actual plates, and I think they have different size bowls, but I really like the shape of these bowls, or maybe they're pasta bowls or platters. I'm not sure what the correct name of those or description of them, but I really love the shapes and the color, and they're nice and heavy as well. So those did come from Target. And I am just going to finish up here. And thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, notifications bell, and like this video.